Thank you for tuning in to Wheeler's Weekend Jams right here on WindyCityUnderground.com. And I drive a 2000 Nissan Altima and no dashboard Jesus. I'm hearing voices over the phone that say, "That's Doug Martinez, Mr. SA."
Hey, what's up?
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, man.
Well, I just want to get into this. Congratulations on 311's 11th studio album, Stereo Lithic, by the way, which is your guys' 11th studio album. You guys had a full summer tour that just ended last week, actually. How was playing these new songs live, and how were the crowds this year?
It was, the songs were great, actually. The cool thing was that the fans were really wanting to hear the new album a lot. So, we made a concerted effort to really put that forward and play a lot of the new stuff. But yeah, it was great, man. The touring never gets any easier, and especially as you do it year after year. It's it takes a toll. But no, the tour was great, and yeah, I've been home for about a week now.
Well, it is your 9-to-5 job, and you've been doing it for 20 years plus, so you're fine.
Yeah.
Well, you put on such an overflow of energy on the stage live, and you sweat it up, my friend. What is SA's secret workout routine to keep those energy levels up? Do you have magical protein shakes, or?
I don't do any supplements, nothing like that. But I think I'll probably start. Adding something, just, bone density, I don't know. You want to, compensate for, one's aging process. But, really on the road, I do get into a bit of a routine where, I'll do a workout, and I've found that over the years, that definitely gives me energy. And actually this summer I got into yoga, and I haven't done yoga in a long time. It's been years since I really I used to do it back in the mid 90s a little bit, and then not at all forever. And then this year one of our techs is pretty competent in in a lot of the poses and whatnot, and so we would do it together. I would be doing a workout, and he would be doing some yoga, and the kid's like just a dynamo. He's got tons of energy, and anyway, so we started doing yoga together, man. It was great, and then I've kind of been doing a little bit here and there now that I've been home.
That's not. I need to start doing that. Actually, a few months ago, I started doing yoga too with my friends, and then I got a new full-time job, and that kind of canceled out the classes I was taking, so I couldn't do it anymore. But I should do it at home now, just watch Netflix or something.
Yeah, man.
Well, congratulations again on Stereo Lithic. You guys have been getting some great feedback off it. You also have been rocking the Turntables for years now. They've been on a bunch of 311's past albums, but not so recent, yet you still play them live. Do they just not fit in on the current albums as much, or is it just now becoming just a live thing?
Really, for me, it's a matter of for that to really work, you have to kind of sit with the song, and also, there are issues of using, certain samples per se, and then there's, as far as using them on a recording, back in the day, well, put it this way, the art of sampling was really, its heyday was back in the late 80s when there was no policing of it, and artists were allowed to be artists and use, sounds to create new sounds from whatever, their palette, consisted of. So, but, and then, a lot of the copywriting and whatnot kind of got in the way, unfortunately, I think, and it's handcuffed, a lot of would-be, Hank Shockleys and other, genius producers that really made it an art form. So for me, it's just really about adding some texture and atmosphere for a live show, and I think that really kind of adds a little bit of dimension and whatnot, as opposed to what you're going to hear on the record. And I think, you know, the true hardcore fans, they notice that and appreciate it for what it is. So,
and I'm sure you get a little bit influenced by Mr. DJ Trichome and Soul Man as well.
Yeah, I've known Soul Man for so many years.
Funk Junkies.
He was, Funk Junkies. You know, from way back in the day, and yeah, he's great. He's just got a lot of energy and creative ideas, and it's always just good to have him or Trichome around. You know, those are good guys.
Yes, they are. Now, let's talk about your upcoming side project called Los Stellarians. I know you like grabbing the mic, and you goddamn bust like James Brown, who is one of your all-time heroes. Explain how this upcoming album, Cholo Soul, came about, and how did this new side project begin?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm a big-time record junkie. You know, I grew up with vinyl records. I mean, that was my MP3, that was my YouTube, that was my, you know, whatever, however people are accessing music these days. A vinyl record was that for me, you know, and from the get-go. And so I don't know if it's just because that was my, early interfacing with music, and listening in that way, why I, you know, still obsess over it, like I do, but it's kind of a part of me, and sometimes to my detriment, because, you know, those things take up space, and, it's one thing when, you know, you're trying to have a family life, yet you're worried about, you know, your kids touching your records. You know, so you got to have priorities and whatnot. But so I've been collecting records all my life, and I've been really getting into the soul. And you know, you're out of Chicago. I mean, there's so much great soul music from Chicago, and
Blues Brothers, baby.
The Blues Brothers. And so, I mean, there's a rich history in this country of just of great soul scenes, and you know, and I think a lot of people really aren't aware of that outside of the record collecting community. I mean, I think it's kind of an obscure thing.
Very.
But the music is just beyond, though. It's so beautiful. Mm-hmm. I mean, and it's so heartfelt. And you know, and as time goes by, it kind of means more to me than anything current, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
I just have always liked it, loved it rather, and really I wanted to sort of showcase it a bit and highlight it for, you know, fans of 311 and fans that aren't really fans of 311, but that like, you know, that type of music. And I think, you know, here and there artists will, you know, do a cover of maybe the classic soul song, but no one's really, because there's so much of it, no one's really saying, yo,
yeah,
check out this just portion of it and see how much there is to it, and how much maybe this can enrich your life, because it really can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. It's very blues and soul has been super underground for years and years. I think it's just, that's the way it's supposed to be, though. It's always going to be like the backbone of everything that's going on in music.
Right. I mean, well, for a time, you know, jazz was the popular music, you know,
yes.
At one point. I mean, you know, the scenes, and the genres, I mean, they really kind of like flare up and then just kind of go away. I mean, that's just kind of how it works for, you know, whatever generations into that music. So, I mean,
right.
I get it, but at the same time, I think a lot of it has more value than that. I mean, you know, in our country, in culture in general, it's just like, you know, we just discard things so quickly. Yet I think that there's more merit than we really give it credit for. So, you know, that's really kind of all I'm saying is, you know, let's maybe kind of you know, contemplate on some of the stuff that has bypassed us and see what's there.
Exactly. Well, maybe there'll be a future SA blues album. You got the soul down, now you just need a blues album.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you recorded this album at your studio, Holy Grailian Records, and you also recorded there for 311 Stereo Lithic as well. Were you recording these albums around the same time? And how was that? How was this process recording there?
Well, yeah, I mean, so we started the Cholo Soul record really kind of before I knew that Tim was wanting to do his guitars here, because he basically moved to the town that I live in now, and we're about an hour and a half from the Hive.
Okay.
Going one way and then coming back, forget it. It takes longer to get home. So, he was like, and I get it. He didn't want to like go down to the studio. I mean, drive that whole time and then have to record, and be inspired. That's asking kind of a lot. You know? And so he wanted to do his guitar stand. I was like, sure, man. I had no problem with that. But the only drawback for us, for Ryan and I, was that Scotch wanted to sort of commandeer the studio, all of our presets on our preamp, everything was like he had it dialed for Tim, and then so we just kind of just did some more road mapping on what we wanted to do once Tim was finished, and we were basically busy. And then when Tim finished, back in November, well, then after the holidays, we started again in January, really, with this record, and finished it probably within maybe a month or so.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Any upcoming tours with this project?
Yeah, I mean, we'll put together a lineup. Ryan actually is gonna come back here this Thursday, and then we'll get back to finishing the next installment of Los Stellarians. We want to put another batch of songs out of original stuff, so we're kind of halfway there, and then we'll put a lineup together. We're kind of working on that right now, and I would say probably in the new year, we'll look for some shows then, and I would love to come to Chicago and bust a set of some Los Stellarians, because I think our fan base there, the 311 fan base there, is so strong, and I love that city, man. I really do. It's killing, man. I could live there. I mean, I know winters are rough. I mean, I grew up in Nebraska. I get it.
Yeah.
But, there's something to be said about what Chicago is, man. I mean, that's a badass place, man.
Yeah, I was going to say Chicago's probably right behind California with the music scene, and I mean, as much as blues, like we were talking about.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
But yeah, it's been a hot one today. It's 95 plus humidity. This past winter was
that's warm.
Yeah, it's super warm. This past winter, though, was probably the worst winter we had in probably at least 15 years. So other than that, our winters haven't been too bad recently.
Yeah. We've had a lot of time there in the winter, and but I just love Chicago so much, man. I could stomach it for that.
That's good to hear. Well, you guys have the 311 Cruise 2015 coming up at the end of February. Will there be a new 311 album starting by the end of this year or the beginning of next year or anything like that?
We haven't really even talked about that, but
too soon, I guess.
I would imagine we'll get on it probably for sure. Maybe at the end, in a few months, it's possible that we'll start, doing something. I would say, though, realistically, beginning of next year, we'll, really start to sort of map out what we want to do as far as, new 311 goes. But, we're always sort of working on something, and heck, with even this project, I've got some ideas for for new 311. So yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of with 311's dynamic. We kind of all have to get together and sort of figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will definitely do that.
Awesome. Well, I have another question for you. I read about actually the huge quake in the San Francisco Bay Area the other day. And it reminded me of the songs Still Dreaming and Galaxy from your previous work on 311. And in the song Galaxy, you say, closing into the age of Aquarius, crazy weather floods, tornadoes, low jet streams, not getting better. The age of Aquarius just started, SA, and what is the full story behind the song Galaxy?
Well, that was on Transistor, and that was a very interesting time for the band. I think even that really kind of could be considered our Laurel Canyon record, because we were all essentially living there.
Yeah.
And there was something about that time that really resonated with me cosmically, on many levels. And, we were just getting into a lot of just esoteric thought and concepts, and, that are still with us, but I would say might have been more poignant in that point in time. But, that song is kind of about sort of sussing out the bigger picture, and and huge tractions of time, and what time really kind of is, and what is it? There's a form to it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's because we can look at music and sort of with music, there's sort of time signatures within the DNA of that music belonged in the 60s. Well, that you can tell was the 40s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's interesting how time works on music and recorded music, and how we really can date songs in a way. So not getting specific, Galaxies is sort of about that. There's grandness to life in my, I think in most people's worldview, there's something sacred to it.
Very.
But what the thing is that our culture really distorts a lot of it. Let's look at, nature doesn't distort nature. Nature is always emerging. It's constant. It's ever changing. But we really kind of have made major impacts on that
right.
field of nature. So Galaxy is just kind of is a lot of that, of just sort of sussing out our place in it. What we mean. Do we mean anything? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's such a grand scheme to all of it, and the more I think about it, I think it's somewhat by design. I don't want to put any religious connotation on it, because I think it's for each person, it's individual, or each
That's right.
spirit. So it's just to go back, I think it was a really cool point in time for the band, and to explore those types of themes, and I think they're always worth exploring.
That's interesting. Yeah, just leave it up to speculation. It's all good.
Yeah.
Well, if there is anything you have to say to the fans right now, go ahead and say it. And I know you just joined Instagram recently, so you could tell everybody to find you on there.
My handle is it's Nova Sage. It's my daughter's name. I just want to thank the fans for hanging with us, man, and for being such a great core of cool people. We have such great fans, and our fans in Chicago kick fucking ass, man. They are just out there for us through and through thick and thin, and it's always been that way. I always look forward to Chicago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I always look forward to that show. That show, I know it's going to be fucking killing. Man. That's just how it's going to be. That's just how it's going to happen. It's
exactly
always a killing show. The crowds are great always, and that's that. It's where we get to play is beautiful. The folks are beautiful. It's always a great time, and in the bigger picture, our fan base are amazing. They really they let us do what we're able to do, and they have supported us through all these years. It's incredible, you know, when you think about it.
Yeah.
To be able to do this for so long with just fan support, you know. It's wild.
Yeah. Chicago is blushing right now because of everything you just said. But well, yeah, thank you so much. And actually, hopefully, because I talked to Peanut 2 weeks ago on here, and he said that you guys played in Chillicothe, Illinois, the Southern Illinois, and that was a really buggy night. And I was asking him about a future powwow, and he was like, "Man, he's like Southern Illinois would have been a great place for a future powwow," and I was hoping.
You know, that place was cool. It was super cool. And yeah, I mean, that time of year, you know, late October, I don't see why, you know, I don't want to talk out of my ass here, but yeah, it's going to happen totally next fall, you know.
Yeah.
Come on down. But yeah, I mean, we need to get back to that because everyone brings that up. Everyone talks about powwow. God, that was miserable where we played it, but it was incredible. The setting was beautiful, but the weather.
It was hot.
God.
It was hot and muggy. Yeah.
It was hot as hot. I mean, hotter than hot. It was so uncomfortably hot. I mean, but the thing is that really people don't even bring that aspect up. They had such a great time. So
yeah.
You know, if we could do it, even at the same spot but a different time of year, it'd be great. But yeah, we need to revisit that idea of powwow and make it happen again because it was a great time.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was July in Florida, so.
Yeah. There you go.
But or actually no, it was August. I'm sorry, it was August.
Regardless, it was
regardless, yes. Well, your first single here off your new album here, off of Los Stellarians, Didn't I? Could you, before I play it here in a minute or two, could you tell us a story about this song?
Well, yeah, I mean, so I had this comp, and this DJ, his name is Gils Peterson, and he put this comp out, and it was like in 2005. I got this compilation, and I'm living at my old place, and I dropped the needle on the record, and the very first song was "Didn't I?" And it floored me, man. In fact, I can't even remember another freaking song on that compilation because I played that song over and over. And, you know, it was just one of those moments where you just had, you know, just it just kind of knocks you back, man. I mean,
yeah.
The song and how it came across, everything about it. And anyway, yeah, I played it over and over, and then here's the thing, man. So the artist Durondo, he actually just passed away about a year ago, and we recorded it, I guess, about last September, so even close to almost a year now that we recorded the song. And then the kind of story goes, you know, a few collectors. You know, I'd stumbled across the 45, and people even in Oakland, in the Bay Area where he's from, really didn't even guys that were in, you know, that community didn't know of this guy. So,
oh wow,
a few people tracked him down. Someone finally tracked him down, and in fact, I've been talking to one of the guys who put the record out. Eventually reissued it, and yeah, basically, you know, so Durondo, he never did anything. He recorded the song, and you know, a few 45s were made, and that was that. And then he kind of just seeped back into real life, and then, you know, 40 years later, some dudes come knocking on his door asking him, "Hey, man, do you have any more music?" And so, and then he did. He had some more music, and then a record kind of was put together of other, you know, sides and whatnot. And then he actually did perform again. He got some recognition towards the end of his life. So that
right.
is a little bit of saving grace right there. That
yeah.
You know what? He saw some money. He saw some money out of it. He saw some success, and man, that's freaking cool.
That's awesome.
So how cool is that? People are into your music after all these years. Can you imagine that? Like,
I can't.
Something you did, 40 years ago that now means the world to a lot of people. I mean, that's amazing. And so,
yep.
I'm really glad that we did the song, and we did a different version of it. We sped it up, and I think the song is great, and there again, I mean, that's just a testament to what I'm saying. I mean, there's so much great music, soul music in this country that I think younger generations need to hear.
Need to open their ears, definitely. That reminds me. I don't know if you heard about it, but there's a band called Death. It's actually a documentary, and it's about this band in Detroit who were a rock band before the punk scene was even out, like before the Ramones and all that. And these guys were 3 black guys from Detroit. They recorded an album, and nobody wanted to put them on a label because they hated the band Death. But actually, if you watch the documentary about it, it's incredible. And now they're like huge now.
I saw that documentary.
Yeah.
Maybe the main songwriter told one of the bandmates before he passed away, he's like, "Yo, save these because someone's going to want them someday." The masters. So
yeah.
So he people like that. I mean, they have a vision. If you have a vision, if you believe in something, most likely someone else is going to feel that as well.
That's right.
I mean, if you stick to something long enough, it'll pay off. But it's just a testament. There's so many underground scenes that have come and gone. It's just there's a lot out there, and that's the thing, man. Like, start digging. If you're into music, get a little record player, man, and go to your local Goodwill. Go to some thrifts. I mean, that's
right.
where a lot of it ends up.
Yeah.
People are trying to throw this stuff away, unfortunately, and so I like to see what you can find.
That's awesome. That's good. Good info on all that. And SA, I just want to thank you again. I really appreciate you calling in on this lovely Sunday night and taking the time to do this. I just want to let you know I'll be seeing you at the end of February on the cruise, and congratulations on the cruise selling out on a pre-sale.
Oh yeah, man, that's gonna be a lot of fun. Those things they're a blast, man. I mean, before we did them, we had no idea what they were going to be like, but now they're great. I mean, they're a great time.
The atmosphere is like nothing else. It's
nothing else.
It's the fastest 4 or 5 days of your life. It's like you go on it and then
absolutely.
That's awesome. But I thank you again so much, SA, and we're gonna be
thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you, and I'll be playing your song right after this message. And you have a great night. Thank you for everybody who tuned in on Wheeler's Weekend Jams tonight, only on WindyCityUnderground.com. SA, have a great night.
You too, buddy.
All right, man. Adios.